Hey guys, this is Dinah Redhouse, and you have now joined us for the Appy Hour as we join and dive into the tech realm. We uncover the masterminds behind disruptive technology. And with us today is Paul Appy, who is going to talk about his app called Postal, which is to completely transform the way we do our daily emails and navigate through communication through business and personal communication via email. So it's revolutionary, leveraging AI, some of the biggest hot topics in the world right now. And here I'm going to start by introducing him and discuss a little bit more about his project and who he is. So, Paul, we always like to find out the why behind our tech geniuses and founders. So, what was the moment that you realized I'm the one that needs to create this app?
That's a great question. It's actually kind of a funny story. I was just standing in the kitchen with my wife making some dinner,
Yeah.
and we were on the phone with her brother. And I believe it was a long weekend. I don't remember which holiday it was, maybe Thanksgiving, but we both came back on Monday and had way too many emails.
Yeah.
Spent all day of, that working day trying to get through them. And I just kind of had an offhand comment where I said, wouldn't it be nice if we had some sort of app or a tool to just help you clear out your inbox more quickly? And he kind of paused and went, that's actually a really good idea. People would probably just not write their own emails anymore. And so I just kind of took it from there and ran with it. That was about 2 years ago.
Wow.
And so right around the time that ChatGPT kind of first launched and some of these AI chatbots were coming out. And I just kept running into more and more people, talking to people, doing research about how some people get way too many emails. They can't even keep up. So yeah, from there, I just kind of took the idea as far as I could. I'm not a developer, so I wrote the best business plan I could and the best pitch deck, started kind of trying to talk to investors.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized that in this world, you kind of need an MVP,
Yeah.
data application to show what the app does and,
Yeah.
how it can be useful. And that's when I started researching development firms and ran into Digital Prodigy and, yeah, kind of kicked things off with you.
Did you feel like, you're a project manager, you're also a teacher, an educator, you have a lot of different skills that you have, but development obviously isn't one of them. Did you ever feel like intimidated going into tech? Why do you think it is that some people have ideas and they just don't take action, whereas you were like, I'm going to spearhead this, I'm going to figure it out as I go and kind of create this highly disruptive. It's to change the game, right? So what made you think you were capable of taking this on?
Well, I guess that goes back to my personal experience and career as well. Being a project manager for a couple big tech firms,
Mm,
specifically in ed tech, I interacted with a lot of software engineers and,
yeah.
executives in bigger companies and
Hmm.
CEOs even, and I just felt like if they could do it, I could do it. Yeah, I didn't know the first thing about coding at the time, but I knew how the software development life cycle kind of works. And I knew I had to get a developer basically to start. But right around the time I was kicking around this idea, it didn't seem like anybody was doing it.
Hmm.
Fast forward to now, there are companies that are working on, email response tools and
Hmm.
um, incorporating AI into that. So if
Yeah.
anything, that just proves that it's a necessary field. People are eager to jump in on this and invest in it.
Yeah. Do you see this tool helping more everyday people, like every day, just like living their life, communicating, or do you think this would be a tool more used for businesses?
Um, I'm kind of a big picture guy. It's hard for me not to look at the big picture. So I
Hmm.
could see this being useful to almost everybody that has an email address. But I definitely see the benefit for businesses, sales teams. I'm really excited to see how much time it saves people and how they can
Yeah.
maximize their efficiency. But on the other side of that coin, I've talked to a lot of people that just have way too many emails in their inbox. And that's kind of the other side of this coin is, with the click of a button, Postal will clear that out for you. So
Yeah.
it's hard for me not to see both sides, but the more I think about it, the people who are getting too many emails a day are more so in the professional business realm.
And I want to run a quick experiment with you because I think this would be super fun to show all of our viewers, like on a practical basis, how this could be beneficial. So I want us to both show our current unread messages on our phone and see how many we have. Because I'm honestly a little embarrassed to show mine, but I think it'll be fun to show, like on average, imagine that be at zero, right? So, okay,
Right.
so we'll go with you first.
So mine's not probably as bad as some people or as it used to be. I've kind of got some OCD about that, so I try to clear it out. But I've got 100 and I don't know if you can see that. I've got 138 unread in my personal Gmail. Um,
Okay, you do not want to know mine. Okay, so I'll insert a screenshot right here in post prod so you guys can see, but I'm currently at 105,149 unread messages.
I think you'd probably be
That's
the perfect use
embarrassing.
case.
I think so. Yeah.
You've got a thriving business and only so much time on your hands. I was actually talking to somebody who owns a yoga studio,
Hmm.
and they were talking about how they just get so many inquiries. Even if they spend a couple hours on emails a day, they're not even making a dent in the amount of people that are reaching out, customers, clients, whatever. So,
Yeah, yeah. And it's funny because I think what AI is doing the most of is it's breaking the belief system that you can't be in two places at one time. Because if you have something responding to your emails, then why not have them responding to your text messages and to your team? So what I think that you're building, and correct me if I'm wrong, is something that in the future can be multiple communication outlets. And so what is the big picture for Postal?
that's a great question. Yeah, I see it as, again, it's hard for me not to look at the big picture.
Yeah.
I can see over 4 billion email users on the planet. How many of them have too many emails in their inbox? Um, but that's a great question. With software, it's always growing, it's always expanding.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I think big picture would be to go from just Gmail to Outlook to other languages, other, markets, foreign markets.
Exactly.
There's people all over the world that get too many emails. There's a quote, I have it in my pitch deck. It goes something like, email is never going to run out until the robots kill us all. So it's kind of a
I love
joke, but
that.
it's kind of true. It's
Yeah.
kind of your digital footprint.
Yeah.
You really can't bank online, shop online, engage with social media unless you have an email address. So
Agreed.
um,
Yeah.
I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon.
Exactly. It's like our, oxygen virtually. It's our lifeline to make us keep going. So I love that. And when I, talk to you about your goals and I review your pitch deck and I see your big vision, obviously you are someone that likes to take, initiative and you like to be impactful. Is this something that's been like a trend in your life? I mean, before we're talking about you being a project manager at tech firms and kind of having a successful career. Tell me a little bit. I'm just curious, who's Paul? Like why how did you get this entrepreneurial spirit to be, so dynamic in what you do?
That's another great question. I think it probably goes back to before my professional career. My dad's an MD, he's a doctor, but he was always very entrepreneurial, started his own firms. And then cutting to right after I graduated college, my brother and I tried our own venture. It
Mm,
was 2012. We were creating iPad cases
nice.
that were unlike anything really on the market. At the time it was iPad 2, I think was the model. So it's
I
pretty
remember. Yeah.
pretty old, but there weren't any cases really on the market that protected the iPad, but also helped you write.
Ah,
So
nice.
back then, if you had your iPad like this, if your palm touched the screen, if you were writing or drawing, it would
Hmm.
create that
Mess
error.
it up.
It was feeling your
Ah, the
skin.
touch.
So
Yep.
we had a raised surface around the frame that allowed you to rest your hand on, so it was easier to
Ah,
write and draw. And great idea. We received a lot of great feedback, but we were, a couple of broke college kids trying to compete with Apple and OtterBox and LifeProof,
yep.
big mobile accessory companies. But we took that experience as far as we could. We went to CES, the big trade show in Vegas, and
Nice. Yep.
kind of showcased our prototypes, and a lot of people liked it. We got a lot of good feedback, but we just kind of got hung up in manufacturing, and ultimately, it dissolved and we moved on. But I guess I gained a lot of insight into entrepreneurialism and
Yeah.
starting a company, running a company. So that was great.
Yeah. And I don't remember the quote I recently saw, but I think we can all kind of admit that when we talk about the entrepreneurial spirit, it never starts with the success. It never does. I think I remember fast success builds ego and slow success builds character. And I love that because I definitely think that when we're building businesses, we don't even know who we are until we actually fail at something and we see what we're capable of and we see the resiliency that we're able to take on more, and learn more and kind of like dust our shoulders off and try it again. So I love what you're doing with Postal. I think it's going to be immensely successful. Tell us a little bit about when it's launching and where they can find out more information, where they can kind of understand what you're doing and kind of get more information.
Yeah, absolutely. So we hope to be launching in about 60 to 70 days, right?
That's
We're
right.
hoping late January.
Mm-hmm.
And there should be a landing page for Postal set up shortly. I'm still in the process of getting social media pages set up, but the company is just called Postal. And so I'm sure you'll include links in the video
Link above, link
description. Yeah.
above. Yeah, so we got a
But
link there. Yep.
yeah, we'll be launching the beta application hopefully soon and sending it out to everybody, posting it on social media. People will be able to experience it, leave some feedback, and then, we'll be moving forward constantly. I think my experience working for software companies has helped pave the way to help me realize, what it takes and
Mm-hmm.
how it's constantly evolving. You're never done in software, the product's never finished. So,
For sure.
I think I just have that mindset going in, knowing that we'll constantly be improving it and, putting money back into the app to help people save time.
Yeah. And so you are currently looking for funding partners, I'm assuming, to kind of help it go to market and equity like investors and VCs. If there's people watching now, are you looking for something like that as this year? And if so, what's that timeline look like in terms of being open in the raising period?
That's another great question. Yes, I am open to receiving funding, and actually do need some funding to get this off the ground. So, yeah, if you are watching and interested in that, I'd be happy to talk further. For time frame, I'm thinking, I guess, the sooner the better we get that. We can keep
Amazing.
moving forward. Yeah. Having a marketing and international business background, I see the benefits and the necessities of marketing. So it'd be
Yeah.
great to hit the ground running with that. And yeah, I'd rather part way with, 40 to 50% of my equity and see my company take off than hold on
Yeah.
to 100% of nothing. So
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
I'm just
Well, you definitely
excited.
have 10,000% more than nothing. I think that what you're doing is great. I'm curious to know if you feel like you have any personal philosophies in business or in life that have helped you kind of be tenacious in this way. I mean, we're trying to revamp the way email is done, which is a huge feat, right? We're taking on a huge industry and obviously we're trying to tackle a major issue that every single person on this planet can relate to. So what would you say is your personal philosophy that has helped you kind of go with the punches? You're creating technology. It's never easy. You have to be resilient. So kind of what do you think has helped create that perspective for you?
That's another great question. I would look to just my experience and the things that have been positive.
Hmm.
One of my professors back in college said that business is about relationships. It's about
Mm,
keeping relationships, maintaining relationships. And
yeah.
when you look back at the best companies that I worked for, the people came first and foremost. Sure, the
Mhm.
product's great. Sure, the profit is great, but without establishing that base level of quality people and quality relationships between everybody at the company,
Mhm.
it doesn't go well. So
Yeah.
I believe things happen for a reason. And so I would look back at my experience as, taking the positives from certain companies, certain leaders, certain CEOs I've seen, and um, seen some negative ones too that I think help shape me into who I am and my kind of philosophy about um, putting people first, putting the employees first, and maintaining those
Mhm.
relationships. That was the same philosophy I had as a project manager. Without that mutual respect and relationship with a client, it's not going to be, very fun or successful when the hard stuff comes. So,
Yeah, agreed. And so there are a lot of people that watch this podcast from all ages. And just recently, we had a couple interns reach out. Are you looking for people to be on the team that you'd be interested to just work, not from an investor or partnership standpoint, but just to be on the team to help out build this app and be part of something that's highly disruptive?
yes, absolutely. That's a great point as well. Some of the other companies I worked for that were the most successful, they gave equity and stock options to even the lowest level employees.
That's
Um,
amazing.
so that's something that I would want to utilize and move forward with. And yeah, at some point, we're definitely going to need some help, keeping the lights on. Again, I'm not a developer, I'm not
Perfect.
an engineer. So yeah, I'm open and accepting of all the help. And
Great.
um,
I'll send some interns your way because we have we probably have more than we know what to do with. So last question of the interview is I'd like to find out, is AI here to terminate or to help propel us into a brighter future? What is your take on AI?
That's a great question too. I've been doing a lot of research on that, and um, I actually was thinking about that today. There's a couple companies that, and I don't remember the names of the companies off the top of my head, but they're using AI in such a beneficial way that can only help humanity, and that's exactly what I want to do. Two examples that I saw come up this week was there's a company that made a AI-based like trash can. So
Mm,
it's to help reduce food waste, but basically it recognizes whatever you throw away and it weighs it. And companies are saving millions of dollars a year on food waste.
wow,
I
that's
saw another
amazing.
one of a company that's using AI to detect breast cancer in patients up to five
Wow.
years earlier than, a standard mammogram would find it. So
Wow.
I think of things like that inspire me for the future and how we can utilize AI and create positive relationships, not something that's going to take over the world, take over your job.
Yeah.
I think if
Hasta
we
la vista,
continue to use
baby.
it, yeah, I think if we continue to use it like that as a tool
Yeah.
and find problems to solve, that
Mhm.
it will be helpful. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do is help you clear out your inbox quicker, instead of wasting all day
Yeah.
on that you can focus on more important things.
Yeah, the value is, I mean, what happens when you have an extra 2 hours a day that you're probably spending opening emails and responding, if not more? I know for me personally, I was just talking to the team before we talked today, and it was like, well, Dinah, if you had an extra 2 or 3 hours, you'd be doing content for the business, and if you do more content, we can get more stories like this out. And so, we talked about like how to just get an extra 2 to 3 hours. And I think Alex Ramosi said it recently. He's like, if you can find a way to save any entrepreneur more than an hour a day, you can literally have $1 million business on your hands, if not billion-dollar. So I love what you're doing. I love that you took on such, a huge issue and decided I'm going to tackle this. We're leveraging some of the best AI with your app, and I think that you're really going to love what we're doing. And obviously, with Appy Hour, we're in front of all walks of life, people that feel scared to kind of take life by the harness like you have and really like go after what they want to do. Let's face it, not everybody is this courageous to go after their big dream. And some people sit on app ideas for decades before they take action. And so I hope that today you guys were able to get some inspiration from Paul, who is just completely transforming the game in terms of communication with your emails. And we plan on building out an even more robust system to tackle all inboxes in the future and to really help you save time, take back control of your day, and empower yourself just in life and using AI and using it as a tool to win and succeed. So thank you so much, Paul, for coming on this today on the Appy Hour, where we interview the most prolific tech founders and find out the mastermind behind their technology. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.